You know what they say, when it rains, it pours. Both my Audis are having electrical issues. My BMW developed a rod knock. Now my Mercedes E63 is the car that's keeping me extremely happy and smiling. Now listen to this, craziest thing happened. The guys from EACustoms hit me up. You're probably wondering, who is EACustoms?
EACustoms is a shop in Ohio, exactly where my Mercedes came from initially. Now if you remember from the first episode in this build, you'll know that I'm missing a lot of parts from this car, like the front bumper, the rear glass, rocker panel, and a lot more miscellaneous stuff. Now if you're aligning the dots in your head, you know exactly why I'm headed to Ohio. After a long 14-hour road trip to Ohio and stopping by every Buc-ee's on the way, we finally made it.
So we just pulled up and I literally can't believe this. Look at this, the front bumper is basically complete. All these parts that I bought from the dealer, we have them right here. Look at this. Sensors, everything. Rear windshield. We got a fender that's basically safe, just minor damage up here. Not sure if we're gonna save that just yet or sell it like this. Rocker panel, which is like $800 because of this black trim right here. Oh, tail light, look at this. This is insane. I don't know how we're gonna make a 14-hour drive home right now, but we'll figure it out. Look at that, we got all the parts inside. Bumper on the roof. Hopefully it does not storm on the way home, because it did on the way here, and once it storms, this thing can be all completely soggy. Also, if you guys didn't get the cue by now, this here is the shop that actually tore apart the E63. And you guys remember the bolts and all the stuff they did to like make sure that whoever buys the car got all the parts and all the bolts were bagged and labeled and everything was just absolute top-notch quality. With that being said, humongous shout out to EACustoms INC. And if you guys are anywhere in Ohio or anywhere, go ahead and reach out to them, because they've showed me some of their work. It's absolutely spectacular. The people here are super nice. Gave me all the parts for completely free, which is just incredible. They could have thrown it away or sold it on eBay or something like that. But anyways, let's go ahead and make our road trip back home. Let's go. Bro, this is crazy. We have a 14-hour drive home. Average day in Ohio, right? No, but actually I did want to mention one more thing. Eddie from EACustoms, the shop that I picked up all the parts from, he actually wanted to give all these parts with the Mercedes to the auction. But the tow truck driver that was picking up the car from the shop, I guess was too lazy and I didn't really want to, I guess. I don't know. But bottom line is, it shows you that these guys are honest people. You know, gave me all the parts for free. I don't know, just kind of shocked to see that there's people that are like that out in this world still. This is the last pit stop before we get home. We've been driving for about 13 hours. And I wanted to show off this aerodynamic system we've created here. Look at that. Oof. Everything's nice and sturdy, ain't going nowhere. We're back home and I'm so excited. You guys don't even know. Like, huge shout out once again to EACustoms. This rocker panel here is like $900. I mean, it saved me just so much money and hassle and everything, just trying to source that piece out, find it, buy it. Look at this. The rocker panel is made out of 3 pieces. 1, 2, 3. You see it's split right over there. Front bumper, I ordered all these parts from the dealership except for these 3 painted trim exterior pieces. And I didn't order them because they're extremely expensive. They're about $400 or $500 each. But now I have extra harnesses, extra sensors with the harness, OEM grill. I got so much stuff and I'm just beyond excited to put together the entire car. Fender got barely any damage on it. I did not order this piece just yet. It's about $80 for this. I can probably still sell this fender and get some money back. 2 doors are for sale if anyone is interested. Whew, this is crazy. Man, I just feel so blessed. Humongous shout out and thank you so much for just nice people out here in this world giving me parts like this for absolutely free. Love this platform because I can have a reach out to everybody that sees my content. This is crazy. I did also get the rear glass, OEM rear glass from this car. I don't have to figure out what kind of, package this car is. This is the original glass, so I know it'll fit 1,000,000%. Rear bumper has no damage whatsoever, and parts are just all over my house because it's just a mess right now. We're moving out, but let's go back and start wrenching on the car. EACustoms also gave me all the old parts from this vehicle. Like, this is the original part. As you can tell, there's the damage right over there. Gave me the rebar as well. This rebar, I paid $580 for a bare rebar. Now, he gave me all these parts, and the best thing about everything is I don't have to break my head anymore finding out how all these wires route. So I went ahead and transferred everything from this onto here already. So everything you see here is fully complete, but I did run into a little issue. For some reason, my horn wire here is ripped. Now, that's pretty typical when rebuilding a car. And typically I would have to get my solder kit out and get this soldered up. But today we have something way better. We got the solder stick connectors. Humongous shout out to Solder Stick for sponsoring this video. If only I knew about solder stick when I was repairing my RS7 wire harness. I was fixing like 50 wires at one time and it took me hours. So let's go ahead and check out this solder stick kit. I am super excited. I've never used this kit yet. It's brand new. And I'm kind of punching thin air right now that I didn't know about this earlier. But anyways, all the instructions I've seen online on how to use this is very simple. You grab one of these bad boys here, the size you need, there's multiple sizes. You slide it onto the wire that's basically ripped, cut, or that needs to be repaired. And then you use a heat gun, heat it up to 130 Celsius, and it should melt the solder and make it completely waterproof. Sounds too good to be true? We're gonna try it out. This one is lightly pinched, but not ripped, so we're good on that. Let's go ahead and get this one fully prepared. Now I'm preparing it the same way I would prepare it if I were just to solder it. So now you see it's short. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna go ahead and shorten the yellow one as well. Now it's perfect. You're telling me for 25 years I could have just done that instead of soldering everything? No way. That's crazy. Let's get the other one done. Hello, little rainstorm. Oh my gosh, look at that. Nice and solid, super strong. Perfect. Waterproof, everything proof. I'm gonna go ahead and tape it up, make it look all OEM. Look at that, perfect, looks OEM. I'm not gonna lie, the solder stick kit definitely exceeded my expectations. This is something I recommend every single one of you guys if you guys are repairing cars or any kind of wires in general to keep in your toolbox. Not only does it save time, it's just so hassle-free, it's amazing. Now, if you guys wanna get yourself a kit, be sure to use the link down below and type in my discount code BYB20 to get 20% off. Once again, shout out to Solder Stick for sponsoring today's video. Now let's get back to the video. Now in the car you see this black painted door that I bought and you're probably thinking like, Tim, why do you need two doors? Well, let me explain. So this black trim right over here comes on the E63 models, right? And this black trim itself is about $600 if I buy it from the dealership. Well, guess what? I got this entire door with that trim and this inside trim that I need that's damaged on my original door, all for $600. And guess what? Not only that, I am so happy I bought this door because if I didn't, I would have been screwed. Screwed badly because only when I push this door up to where it should sit, we notice a big old gap right there and then it gets nice and flush. So yeah, you see that? That's not a good sign. Now with the other door, the brand new one, the bare door, I would have never noticed that because it doesn't have any of this stuff here. And upon further inspection, we notice we have a nice bulging dent over there. So this piece right here of this door jamb is pushed in. You guys see how that quarter panel kind of goes in there a little bit funny? Yeah, that needs to be pushed out. And you can see that's some high strength steel right there, some thick boy. It needs to get pushed out. And once that gets pushed out, this door should fit perfectly right over here. Now imagine I welded everything up in the last episode, put this door on and noticed that gap after it was welded. That would have been sad. Not only that, but EACustoms, the guys there told me that there's something funny going on with the B-pillar as well. You guys can see we have some kind of funny damage right here, but I'm not too sure what that's from, first of all, and I'm not too sure if that really affects anything because the gaps are nice and clean. So I don't know. I don't see any kind of damage here. Everything there is kind of, I think that's just cosmetic, honestly. I'm having a feeling I can just tap this in and it should be fine. Got a little rubber mallet here. We're going to try. I mean, it's slowly going back. I mean, just about all of it went back into place except for this low spot. It needs to come out. Not worried about this. Let's go ahead and work on the rear door opening. That's kind of sketchy. Now for the rear door opening, I got this Porta Power here from Harbor Freight. This thing works magic if you know how to work it properly. Ta-da! Now I want to go ahead and try tackling this entire job without removing the door or the headliner because it's kind of in the way. We have a little bit of access, but I don't want to remove the door because I got to measure the door, make sure I don't over pull it, and the headliner is just a big job that I don't want to do. Wish me luck. Let's get it.
Now before we do any structural repairs, we gotta make sure that this door is sitting in its exact spot. We're gonna be using the door as a reference point to know how much to pull out the quarter panel.
We got this entire side gapped out. Look at that. Nice and perfect all the way through. This one, nice and even all the way through. And this one, nice and even all the way through. What's very important is this line here, as you can see, matches up everywhere as well, all the way here and to the quarter panel. And then you got one more body line down right there, follows all the way through. So everything is perfect. Now we can start working on that up there.
Now typically this kind of damage I would use a frame machine to pull it out, but I don't have a frame machine right now and I've never done this kind of repair with a porta power, so let's give it our best shot.
Now this may or may not work. There's only one way to find out. I hear noises and I see things getting wider. Let's see how much that moved. Let's see. Oh, that definitely moved. So we got to measure before we keep pulling. Let's see if we did anything. Well, it's definitely smaller, but still not perfect. So let's continue pulling it out. We are close. We are extremely close. But I want to make sure it's perfect. So I'm going to do one more light little pull. You can see it's smooth and then it gets just a little bitsy right there. I mean, this door is already closed, so I can't really push it any more in. I don't want to. I want to make sure it closes nice and flush and smooth without any kind of funniness. So just a tiny bit, maybe like literally half a centimeter.
Scared out of my mind and trying over and over and over again, hoping that this would work, I finally got good news.
Cha-ching! We got it all situated. Take a look at this. Nice and smooth. So if you look up, look alongside here. Doesn't change anywhere. Perfect, perfect, perfect all around. And the gap here is perfect. So got everything pulled out. It's looking a lot better inside here. I will clean it up just a little bit. Hammer some stuff down, touch it up. But yeah, it's nice and flush over here. So I'm happy, that's done. It did open up my gap a little bit. It did open it up, but I mean, it is what it is. Now, the last thing I gotta situate is what the heck is going on over here. So it's either this door needs to come this way or that door needs to go that way. And I'm gonna go ahead, because this one looks perfect right here. Now that one sticks out a little bit, so I don't like that. I'm gonna go ahead and bend this top section of this door down in there and see if that fixes anything. You see it's pretty flush down here, but not so good down here. But if we put the door lower, the gap here is gonna be funny, gap here is gonna be funny, and here. So I'm not sure this door needs to go lower unless the whole thing needs to plant lower. And if it does get planted lower, then that means this is gonna get planted lower. That means the gap right here is gonna open up, but right now it's perfect. So really confused, to be honest with you. I'm gonna go ahead and bend this, see what it does.
Not often do I get confused, but this one here was an absolute puzzle. I was so confused, walking around the car, looking at all the door openings, maybe the structural integrity of the car got shifted. I just did not know. I ended up pulling off the fender, adjusting the door, playing with it for hours on end, just to realize that this was the issue after all.
Well, I can't believe it, but I actually figured it out. So if you're here from the first episode, you remember that this door here was either on the roof or in the trunk, and it was strapped down. Now, when it was strapped down, what ended up happening is this door actually opened up here and here. So basically it just actually bent this brim up. That's why the gap is funny. Now I started bending it just slowly from here, walking back and forth, and everything's looking perfect. I literally cannot be more excited that this is actually all that's wrong with this door. Now I was getting a little worried because I was like, man, better not have some weird frame damage. Ooh, yes.
Now with that being complete, it was time to put the fender back on and set the gap for that.
It's really crazy how much work you need to do prior to welding something onto the vehicle, like a quarter panel. So I got everything set up. This took way longer than it should have, but I'm done, so I'm super happy about that. The only thing I may do, once this thing is painted, I may move the two hinges a little bit back, maybe like a hair, just to make this a little bit tighter. But I'm not too sure just yet because it looks pretty good. Once the paint comes in here, who knows how the gap will look once it's a different color. Different colors, different gap looks. It's really, really weird.
To give myself a peace of mind, I went ahead and set the gaps on the entire car, including the front end. We had some very light damage on the driver's side fender, got that all repaired, got the gap set, and everything was looking beautiful.
Now the last thing we need to do is make sure this rear glass fits. Now if it doesn't fit, we may be in for a treat. Hopefully it fits and we can start welding. Well, start prepping the quarter panel for the final weld, but we never know. You really don't ever know. This glass here is probably the thinnest I've ever seen, like for a rear glass. I don't know, this is like scary to handle. It's so thin. Feels like it just might snap for no reason. Oh, nice, it's tinted too, so that's good. Well, I'm very happy I tested out the glass because on this side here, it looks good, right? I mean, obviously it's not damaged on this side. On this side though, there was damage to the quarter panel right here, and as you can tell, it's not quite sitting right. Yes, the glass will go down just a little bit like that, but it's still not sitting right. So what I gotta do is I'm gonna pull this glass back out and see if I can get some access from here and push this up just about 1/2 inch. Otherwise it sits pretty good here, and here it's pretty nice and even all the way through. So pretty happy with it besides this little thing. Once we get that situated, test the glass again, we can start welding.
Here's why they say measure 7 times and cut once. Well, in this case, it's gonna be measure 7 times and weld once, because once you're welded, you're basically solid. You have no room for any kind of adjustments. I tried to fix the quarter panel on the vehicle, which wasn't really possible. I didn't have enough room, so I took the quarter panel off the vehicle and got a good handle on it and got it all repaired. Once that was repaired, I put the quarter panel back onto the car, got everything measured up, and I was just extremely excited that we were getting so close to weld this quarter panel on. This is some very, very tough work, and it's very tough to do it when you're a one-man army as well.
I can't believe I'm saying this, but it's prep time. So we're gonna pull this off, prep all the holes, prep everything here, prep the entire quarter panel, basically getting ready to fully get it welded. Woo! Dang, this is actually a lot harder than I initially thought in the very beginning, just because this entire side is getting changed. So I basically have to set gaps all around the entire car. Crazy.
So prepping a quarter panel for welding is a lot of work. It is pretty simple work, but definitely time consuming. I like to prep the areas that I'm going to weld on both sides of the panel, and obviously the body of the car where it will be touching metal to metal. Now where the seams are, I like to prep about 1 inch on both sides of the seam for a smoother weld job. Once all that is complete, we apply the panel bond and set the quarter panel in its proper spot, aligning it to the self-tapping holes I've made earlier.
I literally can't believe this is happening right now. Everything's prepped, final gaps are set, taillight test fitted, everything is test fitted. Bumper, I'm about 100% sure it'll fit because I have, what's it called? Self-tapping holes down here that I lined them up, so that's 100% perfect. Gap was tested. This gap here got a little bit wider since we repaired this area. But guys, without further ado, let's go ahead and whip this bad boy out right here and get some welding in. This is gonna take me like maybe 2.5, 3 hours of just non-stop welding. So you guys enjoy, and I'll tell you guys some tips along the way. I'm a little nervous, but we'll get all this done. Hopefully the welder's not gonna give me any more issues like it did welding in that inside piece. I prepped everything, and I know one thing, that if you go the extra mile in prepping, it's just gonna help you so much during the welding. So I'm hoping that's the case right now.
I definitely went the extra mile prepping this bad boy. This is a very expensive car, so I want to make it as perfect as possible. Prior to welding anything, I covered the car with welding blankets because obviously I don't want to ruin any of this beautiful interior. Once that was all done, I started welding spots around the car in different places because that helps with having the quarter panel stay in its place. Each hole I weld, I use pliers to clamp it together nearby the hole to get a better weld, and without the weld pushing apart the two metals I'm trying to weld together.
Now we are midway done. Some are pretty, some are ugly, but they all hold 100%. Plus I'm gonna grind them down and seam seal on top of them, so it'll be perfect. But I just ran into a little issue. Now the issue is this, you see, this got cut off my body. So this is the piece I cut off the new quarter panel. There's this one here. This one is safe. We got this one here. Here we have this one, but these three, we got them cut off as well. So I'm gonna go ahead and somehow weld those on right now. We'll figure it out. Oh, and this one. Woo! Damn, that's a big hole. What in the world? I've never done this, but if you just wobble it up and down like so, they will eventually come out. Like that. And it's pretty perfect, exactly what I need.
Welding in these little screw knobs on the rear was actually a little tougher than I thought. I was able to measure up this rear bracket. This bracket is for the rear bumper. Once that was measured up, I saw where that screw needed to be. Got that sucker welded in solid. Now once that was done, I went ahead and transferred to the other 3 screw knobs that needed to be welded in. Once those were done, I went ahead and finished up welding the inside jamb where the door is.
Let's just say I'm due for a little break. Got about 85% welded in. I did run out of MIG wire or welding wire, but all we have left is this up here, this seam. Got most of these welded in, that one over there, and I think everything else is done. Let's go down to Home Depot, get that wire, and finish this sucker up. Last one. Nice. I can't believe I'm saying this right now, but we are officially all welded in. Last night, I was beyond tired. My back was killing me. All I wanted to do was take a nice cold shower and go to sleep. Exactly what I did. Now back at it today, rejuvenated and fresh with energy. So I want to show you guys, look at this. None of the stuff shrunk back. Everything is nice and perfect. This looks perfect over here. Fix this area. This gap here is still nice and beautiful. One of the things I'm extremely happy about is I tackled these things here. So yeah, I was a little bit worried about those, but we got those all knocked out of the way. Now we got to go ahead and grind all this stuff down, but that's not as important as getting this thing completely rust proof. Now we're in Florida, it's extremely hot and humid here, so in order to do that properly, what we got to do is sand down all the insides where it was welded, make sure we get that painted in, that way there's no bare metal showing. But on the inside here, what we got to do is use cavity wax. Now, a lot of you guys are saying, hey Tim, why don't you use weld through primer? And the reason I don't use weld through primer is because the weld through primer will actually interfere with the cavity wax. So that's the way I was taught a couple of years ago. I've been doing it like that. I've had no issues doing it like that. If there is somebody that can educate me better, then I would love to take your guys' advice. But you know, all the cars that I've fixed, friends' cars and stuff like that, any kind of quarter swaps, I've never had any kind of rust issues. I know I'm in Florida, so it's a little bit different. It's a little bit harder to rust proof it here because humid, extremely humid, so the moisture will get everywhere in every nick and cranny. But that's just the way I was taught. I did do some research on some threads, and there are sources saying that, I think 3M is the source that says that the wax and the weld through primer will actually interfere if used together, and it's better to just use the wax by itself. So right now we're going to the store. I'm gonna get myself a buttload of material because I need a lot of things in order to get that thing prepped out properly. So wish me luck. We're back home now. I picked up a roll of paper, picked up some paint to spray inside, some cavity wax. This is some good stuff right here. That actually came with an extremely long, I guess, attachment piece to get up in every little nick and cranny. Some Scotch-Brite, some tape and stuff like that. Went ahead and picked up some discs because I'm going to go ahead and knock all this down right here. I'm gonna do it with the garage closed because I have AC blowing in here first of all, and second of all, I don't want to be extremely loud on the outside. So let's get all that done.
Before I do any grinding at all, I like to tape up the areas where little metal particles can fly into the interior, because it's just extremely annoying to clean. Once everything is taped up, we start grinding. Once again, not a difficult task, but definitely time consuming. You don't want to overgrind because then you'll have to weld again. So the goal is to just make it smooth. That way you can use body filler to make it look like nothing ever happened.
We're just about 75% complete. This up here feels just amazing. It's literally, it kind of looks crappy, I guess you can say, but obviously once the body filler and everything goes on here, it just feels amazing. All this is done. This is done as well. Now I did run into a little issue, and you know, doing these kind of jobs, a lot of times it may look all perfect, but there's little issues we run into oftentimes, and the one I just ran into is right over here. So you see how this right here dips low. Right there, you can see it right there. So the reason why it dipped low is because this piece right here, it came with this quarter panel. I ended up splitting them because I thought it would just be better if I do it right there, not section it way deeper. And I guess that regulates, and right here, there was a little bit of damage. You can even see I marked it. So I gotta cut these 3 welds off, pick this up, and then re-weld it back on there. So let's get that fixed up.
Well, this sucks. This mistake here could cost me a lot of extra headache that I can't afford right now, but I ended up cutting off the 3 welds and slowly prying it up with a flathead, and luckily, only luckily, I was able to break off the welds and actually get it back into place. Once I got it back into place, I just tack welded it back on and the issue was resolved.
Yes, sir. Look at that, nice and even. There used to be a little gap right here, not no more. This right here tucks in, literally exactly the same on the other side, just like that. Look at that, perfect. Oh boy, did I forget how much work this really is. I've been at this for 2 days just to get it to this point right over here. Now I've obviously fast forwarded the time lapses, but just so you guys get a reference of time, we are about 12, 13 maybe hours in on just solemnly working on this quarter panel, getting everything welded and grinded down to this point. Now, I am moving, so that makes everything just a little bit more hectic because my house right now is all in boxes. I'm moving down an hour south, so anyways, with that being said, we are on to the next step, and the next step is to finally paint all the insides in. And by the way, for the next episode on this thing and the paintwork, we might have a special guest in on the channel, so stay tuned for that. And if you guys are enjoying this content, please smash that like button. So I got some Scotch-Brite. I'm gonna go ahead and prep all this stuff with Scotch-Brite. You see the weld marks here. I'm gonna go ahead and scotch all that off and tape everything in and spray it in. This be looking like a paint job. Main thing is for it not to have any bare metal and not to rust. So we're all done here. Cavity wax time. I'd like to consider this the fun part of everything I've done in this video. We got different lengths of attachments, you know, little nozzles for this piece. I'm gonna be finding any hole I can and blasting cavity wax in every single cranny, nook, and everything you can find. It'll be absolutely flooded in this stuff right here because I don't want this thing to rust in a million years. So let's get it. I think this medium one will be good. Right here. Now this medium one will fit almost everywhere. I still got a lot of access. I got holes inside here I can use, here there's holes I can use to blow it all inside. So gotta mix this well. Oh my goodness, it sprays in 360 like all around. Let's go ahead and oh man, this this will be bulletproof after this. We're not taking any chances with rust. Yeah, that's gonna be good. Well, with all that being said, I hope you guys enjoyed this episode, and thank you so much for watching. If you guys did enjoy it, smash that like button, consider subscribing. Don't forget to follow me on Instagram at BYBTim, and if you guys want to support me, consider subscribing on my Instagram. But with all that being said, in the next episode, we're gonna get this bad boy painted, unless we run into any issues, which I hope that's not gonna happen, and it looks like everything is a green light for us up ahead. But anyways, thank you so much for watching this, and I'll catch you guys on the next one, potentially with a very special guest. Peace.